think now chat. Yeah, good. So coming to the course outcomes, we are having 5 course outcomes in this particular course, Introduction to Programming. That is, after completing this course, you will be learning these things. That is, understand the key features of C language. C language will be having key features. So half of the syllabus of C will be completed in this semester and the rest of the half will be completed in the next forthcoming semester. So apply the suitable control structures and arrays in solving real-time problems. So you will be given with real-time problems on which you are going to implement the control structures. Control structure means you are going to control some part of the program. Controlling some part of the program means depending on a condition, you are going to execute some part and you are going to omit the other part. And you are going to implement arrays in solving real-time problems. Don't worry, we are going to study all this. Next, analyzing the problem statements to design appropriate solutions. You are going to analyze the problem statements to design appropriate solutions. For example, if a real-time scenario is given to you to solve, then you are going to resolve it by analyzing them, and you are going to prepare a design. Design means you are going to draw the flow charts that we are going to study in our next lab. Next, evaluate various control arrays and modular functions. Then what you are going to do, you are going to evaluate. Evaluate means debug kind of thing. You are going to perform on the control arrays and modular functions. Means you are going to prepare the problems with respect to functions. Dividing a problem into subparts is called as modular functions. That part we are going to study. Then you are going to build and document the applications for real-time applications. So this is the final outcome of your subject. After completing this subject, you are going to build or complete a project based on the real-time scenarios. Let us go to the next slide. Coming to unit 1, you are having von Neumann computer architecture, then data representation in computer number system, types of softwares. These up to the first 3 parts we are going to study today, and the rest we are going to study in the next lab. Coming to the basic definitions, a computer is a, somebody is annotating. Just a second. Yeah, a computer is an electronic device which accepts data, processes the data like making calculations or controlling machinery, stores and retrieves the data. Data may be simple text, numbers, audio, video, complex graphics, or maybe anything. So what is a computer? A computer is an electronic device. What it does, it accepts the data, processes the data, like making the calculations or controlling machinery is called as processing part. Either you are going to make the calculations, you are going to find the area, you are going to find a hell lot of things. Or you are going to control the machinery. Machinery means, for example, C can be used to control the satellite. And you are going to store and retrieve the data. Data may be numbers, audio, video, complex graphics, or maybe anything is considered to be the data. Once you process this data, it is called as information. That slide is going to come in very short. And now coming to the next one, a system is a set of interrelated parts that operate together to perform a specific task. A system is a set of interrelated parts that operate together to perform a specific task. Don't raise your hand. You can type in the chat window. If there is any doubt or if there is any problem, you can simply type in the chat window. Don't raise your hand. Next, von Neumann architecture. First of all, what do you mean by an architecture? An architecture is the way of arranging the components or arranging the instruction set or arranging anything is called as architecture. Now coming to computer architecture, we are having 2 types of architectures. One is von Neumann architecture and the second one is Harvard architecture. Now coming to Harvard architecture, everything is distinct. Distinct in the sense control unit or control signals will be stored separately. Data, yeah, sir, should we note the points? It's up to you. If you want to note it, wherever you feel required, you note it down. Anyhow, I'll be sharing the notes after completing the unit. Okay? Notes will be received, but Wherever you feel important, you can note it down. Have a notebook, a pen. And we are going to solve some problems today in this lab session. So you need a book and a pen at any cost in this present class. So Von Neumann architecture and Harvard architecture. Coming to Harvard architecture, the data is stored separately, signals are stored separately, and the components or registers are available separately. So Harvard architecture is mainly used in the computers which require huge processing like servers or maybe supercomputers. There you are going to use Harvard architecture. In Harvard architecture, you are having CISC and RISC, complex instruction set computing and reduced instruction set computing. All these comes under Harvard architecture. Now coming to our desktop systems, we are going to use Von Neumann architecture, which is the basic one and which is most oftenly used, where the data part and the signals are completely stored and retrieved on a single source. So what is exactly a computer architecture? A computer architecture is set of rules and methods. A computer architecture is set of rules and methods that describe the functionality. Functionality means working process. A computer architecture is set of rules and methods that describe the functionality, organization and implementation of a computer system. How the computer system is organized. Organized doesn't mean that where the CPU is, where the monitor is, where the keyboard or mouse is. This is not the organization. If you consider a motherboard, inside the CPU you will be having a motherboard. If you open that, which component must be placed is called as the organization. Where must be the processor, where must be the RAM, where must be the chipsets, etc. The organization of that is called as the computer architecture. Now, who has introduced this one? The first architecture was designed by Charles Babbage and Ada Lovech. Two people are there. Generally, we know that Charles Babbage is the inventor of a computer, but along with him, we are also having Ada Lovech. Now, what they have done, they have created the first machine with an architecture. It is not Von Neumann architecture or Harvard architecture. With some architecture they have designed, and the name of that computer is Z1. Z1 is the first computer, no, not Z1, that is analytical engine. Charles Babbage and Ada Lovech has introduced the first computer in the market that is called as analytical engine with some architecture. Now the architecture was published by Von Neumann, and that architecture or that computer is called as Z1. Z1 architecture. Now John Louis Von Neumann is his complete name. The first computer that was having this architecture is called as electronic discrete variable automatic computer, EDVAC, and this was introduced in 1945 by John Louis Von Neumann. And how it look like? It looks like something like this, a huge machine inside a huge room. Nowadays we are having small tiniest mobile phones in our hands. That is also a computer. And coming to the first architecture, that is John Von Neumann computer architecture, this is the machine. So this machine represents that system. It is having huge components, huge wiring, and it requires cooling systems, etc. Now, what it does, it is going to perform storing. It is also called as stored program computer. What do you mean by storing? Whenever it receives a control signal or a data signal, it simply stores and it performs the processing work. Whereas coming to Harvard architecture, it never stores the data. It will be having separate lines for everything. Now, stored programming concept, where the programs and data are stored in separate storage unit called as memories. In a single computer architecture, we will be having something called as memory. In that memory, all the data as well as signals are stored. Now, what it consists of? It consists of a control unit. Von Neumann architecture comprises of input devices, output devices, and CPU, central processing unit. Now let us concentrate on input devices. What do you mean by an input device? An input device is a device which gives input to a machine. A computer is called as an input device. Anything which is taken as input. Now, what are the devices that we are having? We are having mouse. Mouse is an input device. Then we are having a keyboard. Keyboard is another input device. Suppose you are having a touch screen on your laptop. or desktop, then that touch is also called as a input device, because you are moving your hand, something is given as input to that particular machine. Or mobile phone is the best example of a touch screen. So touch screen is also an input device. Suppose you are using a graphical tablet, a pen like kind of thing that is going to give you the input to the system. For example, you might have visited RT office for taking the license. There you will be given with a graphical tablet. A pad will be given to you. On that you have to sign, but you can't see the sign. That sign is acquired inside the system. Now that is also called as an input device. Maybe you have visited a biometrics device for taking some Aadhaar card authentication. For giving some Aadhaar card authentication, you are going to give your thumb impression. Now that thumb impression, a reading device, is also called as input device. Okay, anything that gives data to a system or a computer is called as input device. And after performing some operation, if it gives as output from the machine, then it is called as output device. Now, one best example of output device is monitor. The screen on which the video is being displayed is also called as an output device. Maybe a speaker which is going to give you sound, that is also called as an output device. You are printing a document. Now that printer is also called as an output device. Anything that comes out of the CPU or out of the machine computer is called as an output device in any form. So coming to the middle part, the most important one, it is central processing unit. What it has a control unit. Control unit in the sense what? It is going to control. Whom it is going to control? Arithmetic and logical operations and memory that comprises of registers. Everything is controlled by control unit. So which is the most essential part of any CPU is control unit, because the control unit is going to control everything like arithmetic and logical operations, registers, the processing part, reading part, moving the data, storing the data, everything is being controlled. Okay. Now coming to arithmetic and logical unit. Now what do you mean by arithmetic? Arithmetic means addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, etc. Modulus. So arithmetic operations, let us see the arithmetic operations. One second. Let us see the addition part first. I'm going to stop sharing. No, stop sharing desktop. Whiteboard not required. Yeah. Share notepad. Okay. Now my notepad is visible to you?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Good. Now coming to arithmetic operations, we are having arithmetic operations like addition. Now coming to addition, what you are going to do? We are going to add. Just a second. Let me increase the font size. Is it clearly visible now?
Yes, sir. Visible.
Now coming to addition part, we are having only binary numbers in a computer. In computer, we are having only binary numbers. So we are having these possibilities, that is 1 plus 0. Or let us start from 0 plus 0. The result will be always 0. The result will be always 0. Yeah. Now coming, let us change the inputs. 1 plus 0. The result will be 1. 1 plus 0, the result will be 1. Next, let us change the inputs, that is 0 plus 1. I increase the font a little bit. Yeah, what might be the result? 0 plus 1?
1.
1. Yeah, very good. So only 0 plus 0, the result is 0. Then 0 plus 1, result is 1. 1 plus 0, result is 1. And if you are having 1 plus 1, don't tell the answer is 2. The result is 1, 0. Because we are having binary numbers, the result is 1 and 0. Now let us add one more bit to this one. Sir, I want to do plus 1 again. What happens? So what happens here? 1 plus 1 plus 1. So the result will be 1, 1. Result will be 1, 1. The binary equivalent of this is 3. The decimal equivalent of this one is 3. Now, what is the decimal equivalent of 1? Let us see. The binary equivalent of 1. This is decimal number to the base n, and this is binary number to the base 2. Okay. Then decimal number 2, the binary equivalent is 1 and 0. So my screen is visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Then we are having number 3. Number 3. So what is the binary equivalent? 0, 0, 0, 1, 1. Now coming to binary decimal number 4, the binary equivalent is 1, 0, 0. Can you see the transition of 1 bit? So this is 4, this is 5, coming to 5. 1 second. So here it will be 1, coming to decimal number 6. This will become 1, 0, coming to decimal number 7. Decimal number 7, yeah. Sir, not understanding, don't worry. In this class, I'll make you to understand completely what is number system. Okay, don't worry. See, I am just giving you abstract of binary numbers. If you convert a binary number into, if you convert a decimal number into binary number, this is what you are going to get. Okay, 7 means 1. So let us remove all preceding zeros, then you will understand what exactly is happening here. Preceding zeros I am removing. How we are going to do? You will learn. So as of now, just keep a snapshot of this one. If you want, you can write down what exactly is this one. Just I want to prove that decimal addition is equal to binary addition. So what we said 0 plus 1. 0 plus 1, decimal 0 plus 1 is what? 1 itself, right? Decimal 0 plus 1 is 1. So what is the binary equivalent of 1? We are going to get 0, 0, 1. So this is the result. Suppose you are having the number like this 0, 0, 0 plus 0, 0, 1. So the result is 0, 0, 1. Is that right? Any doubts here till this part? No. Then let us add 0, let us add 1. The decimal numbers 1 plus 0. So the decimal number will be 1 and the decimal number will be 0. Here it is decimal 1 and decimal 0. 1 plus 0 is the result is 1. So here you are adding 1 plus 0, 1. 0 plus 0, 0. 0 plus 0, 0. Just a second. Can you see these two numbers? What happened? Processing slow. Now, if you concentrate on individual bits, we are adding this 0 with this 1. Then we are adding this 0 with this 0. Then we are adding this 0 with 0. 0 plus 0 is 0. So in these 4 cases, 0 plus 0 is 0. So whenever you are adding 1 and 0, the result is 1. So the binary equivalent or binary addition of these two numbers is 1. Now, suppose we are having a number like this, 1. So what is this? We are performing addition of 1 plus 1. The result must be 2. Okay. This is decimal number 1, decimal number 1. 1 plus 1, the result must be 2. So what is the binary equivalent of 2? The result is 0, 1 and 0. Yeah. Now, just concentrate. We are adding these two numbers, 1 and 1. These two are decimal numbers, decimal, and this part is binary part of that particular number. This particular part is binary. Okay, now you are adding 1 and 1. So we said that in the previous part that 1 plus 1 is 0 1. Adding 1 plus 1 gives you 0 1, that is 1 0. So first number will be a 0, then you will be getting 1. So 1 0 is the result of 1 plus 1. Okay, suppose we are having another number. Say the number is something like this. So here we are going to get 3. I want to add 3 with 1. I want to add 3 with 1. The result is 4. Okay. The decimal number of 3 plus 1 is 4. Now here let us concentrate on these individual digits. Don't concentrate on binary to decimal conversion. I'll explain that. Just concentrate on binary addition, because arithmetic and logical operation is going to do addition part. So what I have said, 1 plus 1 is equal to 1 0. 1 plus 1 is equal to 1 0 in binary numbers. Don't say that our sir told that 1 plus 1 is 10. 10 is different, 1 0 is different. In binary numbers, 1 0. Now coming to another part, that is 1 plus 1. So what we said, 0 plus 1 is equal to 0. Then 1 plus 0 is equal to 1. Then 1 plus 1 plus 1 is equal to 1 1. So these are binary additions. If you add 3 ones, we are going to get 1 1 as the result. If you add 1 and 0, 1 will be the result. 0 plus 1, 0 will be the result. And irrelevant of binary number or decimal number, the result is 0. 0 plus 0 is always a 0. So these things are basics for performing binary addition. Okay. Now let us do this addition part. So according to our 1 plus 1, what is the result? 1 0. 1 plus 1 is 1 0. So write the 0 here and make a carry bit 1. So here we are going to write first 0, and here what you are having, carry bit 1. Now 1 plus 1, the result will be, just a second, I am going to write the carry bit also. So here we will be having a carry bit 1. 1 plus 1 is 1 0. 0 you are going to write, 1 will be carried. Now 1 plus 1, again you are going to write another 0. Then again you will be writing here the carry bit. Now 1 plus 0, the result is 1. Don't get confused. We are adding digit by digit. So here first what we have done, we have written 1 plus 1. The result is 1 and a 0. So what we are going to do, we are going to carry this 1 to the next level. We are going to carry this to next level. Then we are writing this 0 part over here. 0 we have written. Then we are performing addition on 1 and 1. We are performing addition on 1 and 1. Again we got the result as 1 and a 0. What you are going to do, keep this 0 over here, then carry this 1 to the next level, basic addition. Okay, then what you are going to do, now you are performing addition on 1 carry bit and the 0. 1 and 0 is 1. So here you are going to write directly 1. So the result is 100. Now if you concentrate on the decimal part, what is 3 plus 1? 3 plus 1 is 4. Okay, so what is the binary equivalent of 4? Just concentrate here. Binary equivalent of 4. 4 is 100. So what the answer we got? 100. So our answer is correct. That is 4. Any doubts here? You can type in the chat box. Binary addition.
No, sir.
Everyone, all 80 students, then that's very good. So based on this only, we are going to have the rest of our class. Okay, can you explain again? Very good. No, nothing to feel shy. See, the basic thing is we are having these additions in ALU. ALU is going to perform additions part. Where it is going to perform additions part? It is going to perform additions part on arithmetic and logical unit. Because computer knows only binary numbers, we need to talk only binary concepts. So here initially 0 plus 0 is equal to 0. This is binary addition. Binary 0 plus binary 0 is equal to 0. Then binary 0 plus 1, the result is 1. Then binary 1 plus 0, the result is 1. Till this part, no distinction between a binary number or a decimal number. Have any logic, or we have to remind? Logic, Baba, logic. Why did you write 3 beside 001? That 001. Don't worry, I'll explain again. Nothing to feel worried. So 1 plus 0, you are going to get result 1 in binary number as well as in decimal number. 0 plus 1 equal to 0. 0 plus 0 equal to 0. Now coming to addition of 1 plus 1. Here in decimal number system, we are going to write the 2. 2 as the number. But coming to 1 plus 1, in binary system, it is 1, 0. The result is 1 and a 0. Suppose you are adding 3 ones. 1 plus 1 plus 1. Then what will be this one? This will be something like this. 1, 0 again. First you are adding 1 plus 1. You will be getting the result as 1, 0. Yes, once you are going to add 2 numbers, 1 plus 1, you are going to get 1, 0. Then what you need to do? You need to add this plus 1 also. So whenever you are adding plus 1, what it happens? Again, you are performing plus 1 to this 1, 0. So the result will be something like this. Here you are concentrating on 0 and 1. 0 plus 1, the result is? 0 plus 1, the result is?
0.
0 plus 1, 1.
1.
Yeah, only one student has given here, 2 students has given here 0 plus 1. So this one is 0 plus 1 is 1. Yeah, 0 plus 1 is 1, 1 plus 0 is 1. Only when it is 0, 0 plus 0 is 0. Only in that case it is 0. Very good. 1075, 2003 A51075, you are right. And Manoj, 2005 A11072, you are right. Very good. 2 students are active in my class. Be active. I will be making many mistakes in my class. You need to identify them. This is how we are going to learn. Okay. Now, let us come back to this one. 1 plus 1 plus 1. Before performing 1 plus 1 plus 1, let us do addition of 1 plus 1. So the result is 10 with respect to the above line. 1 plus 1 equal to 1, 0. In the same manner, 1 plus 1 is equal to 1, 0. Now add again this particular plus 1 over here. So we are writing plus 1. So 0 plus 1, 0 plus 1 is the first digit will be
1.
1. Very good. Then what about this one? Do we have anything here? If we don't have anything here, just consider it to be 0.
1 plus 0, 1.
Yeah. Now 1 plus 0,
1.
1. Very good. So the result is 1, 1.
1. 11.
11. Very good. Don't say 11. 11 is a decimal number. We are here. We are adding binary numbers. So tell 1, 1.
1. 1.
1.
Very good. So the result here is 1, 1. So 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 1, 1. Understood this part?
Yes,
Now
sir.
let us go
Yes,
to
sir.
addition of 3 plus 1. Addition of
3 plus 1.
5 plus 6. What is the result?
1.
Let us take a smaller
1.
number.
1. 1. 1.
Let us do one thing. Let us take a smaller number. Now let us come back to this 1 to 7. Okay. So let us write one more line. So 0 in decimal number system, 0 in binary number system. So here 0, 1, 0. Now this is base 10. I can't write base value in notepad. That's why it is equivalent. You can write base 10, 0 to the base 10, 1 to the base 10, 2 to the base 10. Base 10 means a decimal number. Here base 2, the base 2 must be a subscript. Okay. Base 2 is a binary number. So here what we are saying, 0 is represented as 000, 1 is represented as 001, 2 is represented as 010, 3 is represented as 011, 4 is represented as 100, 5 is represented as 101, 6 is represented as 110, 7 is represented as 111. What about 8? Can anyone type what will be the binary equivalent of 8? Very good. Somebody given. Sahiti Yamsani. See, one basic thing is you should not log in with your names. You should log in with your hall ticket numbers. In the next class, just concentrate on that. Otherwise, you won't get the attendance. In the attendance sheet, your name will be there. If you write your hall ticket number will be there. With the hall ticket numbers only, we are going to give you the attendance. Okay? Just concentrate from the next class. If possible, try to change it now itself. Now, Yasmin, very good. This is 2071, wrong answer. 1110 is wrong answer. Try again. 71. So let us forget about these things. I'll give you the example of adding 2 plus 4. So what will be the result? 6, right? Decimal number system. If I write 4 other than 0 and 1, it is decimal number system by default. 2 plus 4 is equal to 6. Now let us write the binary equivalent of 2. What will be the binary equivalent of 2?
0 1 0.
Very good. 0 1 0. Good answer. What
0,
will be the
0.
binary equivalent of 4?
1 1 0 0.
1110.
0.
Very good. Just now we have seen 100 and 010. So let us add these two numbers. So that is 100 is 4, right? So this is 4 and this one is 2. Very good. Now let us do the addition part. Don't get confused. Just concentrate from right to left. You have to do the addition part from right to
left.
now. So first what you are going to do, you are going to add 0 plus 0.
0.
First you are going to add 0 plus
0 plus 0.
Yeah.
0.
191, good answer. So first what we are going to get? The result
0.
as 0. Let us move here. Now concentrate on the middle part.
1 plus 0 1.
1 plus 0?
1.
Very good. The answer is 1.
0 plus 1. 1.
Very good. 0 plus 1 is 1.
1.
So finally we are going to get
1
1
1
1 1 0.
1 0.
okay, 1 1 0. Now let us
0.
try to see what is this 1 1 0. Can you see here 1 1 0?
2.
2
6
No, 2 is binary
Binary.
6
representation. 6 is the right answer.
6.
Okay. So what we have done, we have added 2 and 4. The result is also 6 and this is also equal to 6.
6.
Okay. Now let us complicate this thing a bit. I'm going to complicate this a little bit. Now what I'm going to do, simply I'm going to write 1 here and I'm going to make here a 0. So what is this? 2 plus 2, right? So this is 2 plus 2, right?
Yes, sir.
2 plus 2 must be, the result must be 4. Let us write this, change this 6 to 4. Now let us concentrate on individual bits.
Answer is 1 0 0.
100.
100, wow. Let us again try. Okay. We are going to try till the last person understands in our class. That is my main intention. Okay. The one who can't understand also need to understand. So let us come from the step 1. Add right hand side the digits. 0 plus 0. We got the 0 right. Yes. Nothing wrong till this part. Now 1 plus 1. What is 1 plus 1?
1 0.
1 0. 1 plus 1 is 1 0.
0.
So what you need to do here, you need to write here 0 and 1 is carry. 1 is carry bit. 1 plus 0, answer is 1. So
1.
what you are going to get here? 100.
100.
Is everyone clear? Still anybody is having a doubt? You can type in the chat box.
No, sir.
Very good. Now I'm going to make this a little bit complicated. 1. So what will be the result? So again come from the right. I'm going to make here again 1. Let's enjoy. So what is 111?
1 1. 1
7
7, sir.
Yeah.
7
7
7. Very good. 111 is 7 and 010 is 2. So what is the result we need to get? 9.
9.
Okay. Now forget about 9. We are going to concentrate on bits. So the Initially, what we are going to get here is 0 plus 1. What is the
100
result?
100 1.
0
No, don't tell me the entire answer. Let us concentrate on bits. 1 plus 0?
1.
1. Very good. Then 1 plus 1?
1
1 0.
0 1 0.
1 0
So you are going to write 0 and 1 carry, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Here we are going to get the result as 1 and 0. So 0 you are going to write here and 1 will be sent as carry bit. Okay. So here you will be getting 1 again. 1 plus 1.
1 0.
1 plus 1 is equal to 1 and
0.
0. So what you are going to do here, you are going to remove, add 1
Sir,
more.
somewhat disturbance.
Yeah, somebody's mic is giving disturbance. Yeah, you can mute yourself. When I ask a question, you can unmute again. Good, thank you. Now, the result is 1001. So this is equal to 9. We are going to study binary numbers, just wait. Okay, understood this addition part?
Yes, sir.
Very good.
Yes, sir.
Now let us see subtraction
Yes, sir.
part. Subtraction. Okay. Subtraction means you will be taking a number. Now let us subtract 7 and 2. What is the result?
7.
5.
5. Very good. Basic things we are going to study. 7 minus 2 is 5. So binary equivalent of 7 is 111 and binary equivalent of 2 is 010. Okay. Subtraction means what we are going to do is we are going to make 2's complement of a number.
2's
2's complement. What is 2's complement? 2's complement means 1's complement plus 1. 1's complement plus 1 is 2's complement. So what do you mean by 1's complement? Let us take one number called as 2. Let us take this number. So let us make 1's complement of this number. So 1's complement. Make 0 as 1 and 1 as 0 is called as 1's complement. Okay. 0 to 1 change, 1 to 0. Wherever 1 is there, write 0. Wherever 0 is there, write it as 1. Then it is called as 1's complement. We said 2's complement is equal to 1's complement plus 1. So what we need to do, we have to take this number and add 1 to it. So what we have to do, take this number and add 1 to it. So what will be the number? Something like this, 001. Add this and what is the result?
1110.
1110. One more.
110.
Nothing to worry.
110.
Concentrate on the first
110.
two digits.
110.
1 plus 1.
110.
1 plus 1, you are going to get the result as 1 and 0. Write the 0 here and make this one as carry bit. Okay. Then we'll be having 100. The result will be 1. Is that right? Here the result is 0. Here 1 plus 0, 1. So answer is 110. Very good. Right answer. 110. Is that right? So 2's complement of 010 is 110. Okay. 2's complement of 010 is 110. Now what you need to do? We are going to take 7. Then we are going to take 110 to the addition part. What is the result? Try the addition part. Addition part, Baba. So 1 plus 0, 0.
1101.
Yeah. Then 1 plus 1, 0. 1 is a
0.
carry bit. 111, 1 1.
1
So how many numbers we got?
Sir, 1 plus 0 1 no, sir.
Sir. 1 plus 0, 1.
Good. Only 2 students.
1001, sir.
1
1 1 0 1.
1101. 1101, sir. 1101, sir.
1101.
1101.
1101. 101. Okay, just let us solve this one. Okay, nothing to worry. So what we are going to do, we are going to add 1 and 0. 1 plus 0 is directly 1, right? No issues till this part.
Yes.
Very good. Now let us go with next one. 1 plus 1. What is 1 plus 1? 1
0.
and a 0.
One,
Don't say
0.
10.
0.
So write this 0 here. Very good, we have written, and take this one as a carry bit. Carry bit where? Here. So what we are going to get? The next one is 1 plus
1 plus 1.
1 plus 1. Is that right? Two ones are already here. 1 is a carry bit. Okay. 1 plus 1 plus 1 is, what is the result? The result is 1 1. Okay. So we are writing here 1 1. Understood?
Yes, sir.
This addition part, shall I clear these colors? So one important thing is, what you need to understand here is, already you are having here 3-digit number. Here we are having 3-digit number. So we need to take only 3-digit number as the result while performing subtraction. While performing subtraction, don't take the entire number. What is this? This is equivalent of 7, right? We are doing 7 plus 7 minus 2. We are doing 7 minus 2. So what we have done, we have taken this number, and we are making it as 2's complement. 0 1 0 we are making as 2's complement. What is 2's complement? 1's complement plus 1. Now take this number 0 1 0, which is 2, then make it as 1's complement. 1's complement means what? Make 0 as 1, 1 as 0. Okay, inverse is called as 1's complement. So what we have done, we got 0 1 0 in the place of 0 1 0, we got 1 0 1. Then what we are saying, 2's complement is plus 1. 1 0 1 plus 1, we got 1 1 0. So this number has to be placed as number 2. Instead of writing binary number of 2, we need to keep this 1 1 0. So we have kept, so this one is equivalent to 7, and this one is 2's complement of 2. Is that right? 2's complement of 2. After doing addition for these numbers, here we are having 3-bit number, bit 1, bit 2, bit 3. Bit 1, bit 2, bit 3. So we need to take only 3 bits. Ignore the first bit. So the result is 101. Ignore the first bit. First bit you have to leave at any cost, because we are having 3 bits number, 3-bit number. Take the 3 bits from left to right. No, right to left. Take it from right to left, 3 bits. So 101, what is the binary equivalent of 101?
5.
5.
5. So if you perform 7 minus 2, whether you got decimal 5? Yes. So the answer is 101. Understood subtraction? Subtraction, again you are doing addition, but you are taking one number, you are making it as 2's complement. Okay, in both the numbers you are taking one number. Here 7 is there, leave the 7. Take the lesser number. If both are equal, take the any number. Okay, take the lesser number, convert this binary number into 2's complement. What is 2's complement? 1's complement plus 1. What is 1's complement? Converting a number 0 to 1, 1 and 0. Then add 1 to it, you are going to get 2's complement. So this is the given input 7 and 2's complement of 2. Then perform addition. You will be getting more number of digits. If in that case, take as many number of digits are there, 3 digits, then take 3 digits only. So this is subtraction. Multiplication means adding that number for those many number of times. So for example, if I say 2 into 3, adding 2 for 3 times is going to give you 2 into 3. Suppose I want to write 2 into 3. What is this? 2 into 3, 2 plus 2 plus 2. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, I want to write 8 by 2, 8 division 2. What do you mean by 8 division 2? 2 minus 2
2
minus
minus
2. Okay. So division is subtraction, multiplication is addition. Don't concentrate that much now itself. We are going to study this on later phases. Okay. So only thing you need to understand as of now is how to perform addition, how to perform subtraction on binary numbers. Is it clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Okay, very good. That's great. So this is arithmetic operations. Now coming to logical operations. Excuse me. Now coming to logical, one second, share, new share. Okay. So here we have completed arithmetic operations. The leftover is logical operations. Let us get back to Notepad. Yeah. Now we are having three logical operators. Logical operators. One is AND. Second one is pipe symbol. Above your enter key in the keyboard, you will be having a pipe symbol. 2 dashes is called as OR. You can write 2 ANDs also. 2 symbols for OR also. Then you will be having one exclamatory mark called as NOT. And or not. So these are the 3 logical operations what you are having. Okay. Coming to logical operators, let us get back from current slide. Share. Coming to logical operators, we are having first one is AND. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
This is electronical symbol. In the second year, you may be studying this symbol. Ignore this symbol as of now. And now you may call as 0 or 1 or true or false. Both are same. 0 means false, 1 means true. 0 or 0 is 0. False and false is false. 0 and 1 is 0. 1 and 0 is 0. 1 and 1 is 1. If both the inputs are 1, then only the result is 1 in this case. Okay, understood? And
Yes, sir.
operation. If both the inputs are same, 1, then the result is 1. Otherwise, the result is 0. Let us consider this 0 into false and 1 into true. 0, that is false, and false is false. False and true is false. True and false is false. And true is true. Any doubts here?
No, sir.
No,
Very
sir.
good.
No, sir.
Good. Now let us see the next one, that is OR. This is the symbol for OR. Okay. Now coming to OR symbol, if any one of the input is 1, the result is 1. Any one of the input is 1, the result is 1.
1.
0 or 0, 0, 0 or 1, 1, 1 or 0, 1, 1 or 1, 1. Don't get confused with addition part. 1 and 1 plus 1 is 0, 1. That is 1, 0. 1 plus 1 is 1, 0. Coming to OR, 1 or is 1. Don't get confused here. Addition is different, OR operation is different. Okay. Let us go to the NOT operation. NOT operation is equal to 1's complement.
1.
0 becomes 1, 1 becomes 0. Okay. So this is regarding 3 logical operators what we are having. So this completes arithmetic and logical operations in computer, that is CPU, as per von Neumann architecture. Shall we go to the next slide?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now, apart from that, we are also having registers. Just concentrate here. We are having registers also. PC, CIR, AC, MAR, and MDR. These are registers. So these registers are shown here. So what is MAR? Memory Address Register, Memory Data Register. AC stands for accumulator.
Accumulator.
PC stands for program counter. CIR stands for current instruction register. Now let us see MAR, Memory Address Register. Now what it does, it holds the memory location of data that needs to be accessed. If I want to perform A is equal to B plus C, I want to add 2 numbers. Now those 2 numbers are stored somewhere in the memory. Okay, those 2 numbers are stored somewhere in the memory. Every memory location will have an address. Now that address will be stored in Memory address register. A instruction is going to get executed. That instruction will have a address. I want to print a value. I want to accept something from the keyboard. Everything is an instruction. Every instruction will have an address. You are storing some value into a memory. Then it will be having some address. So the address location, the memory location of data, the memory location of data that needs to be accessed. I want to read the data or I want to store the data. Only two operations. Accessing means I want to read the data or store the data. In either of the cases, we are going to use MAR. Next one, memory data register. It holds the data that is being transferred to or from memory. Now data is moved. Where it is moved, MAR is going to hold the data. Yes, what data has to be moved? 10, 20, 30. The values are holded in MDR. MDR is a register. Now, I want to perform addition. When you perform the addition or subtraction or division or multiplication, the intermediate result will be there. For example, I want to store 5 plus 6. Before storing 5 plus 6, I have to calculate what is 5 plus 6. Okay, I will get 11. That 11 must be stored somewhere temporarily. Inside our brain also, you are going to store temporarily. Now that temporary location is called as accumulator, where intermediate results are stored. I want to perform addition of two numbers, subtraction of two numbers. I want to perform a complex operation. That complex operation is going to store intermediate results. It is going to execute part by part. That part's addition, store it in accumulator. Again, do the addition. Part, store it in accumulator, so on. Next one is program counter. Program counter contains the address of next instruction to be executed. What is the next instruction that is to be executed? After this slide, which slide comes? The number of the slide will be stored in program counter. After my class, whose class is there? Say mathematics class is there. After this class, for example, then program counter is going to hold the address of mathematics class. In a program, I'll be having sequence of instruction 1, instruction 2, instruction 3, so on. Suppose instruction 1 is under execution. We are executing instruction 1. Then the program counter will hold the next instruction address. Instruction 2's address will be stored in program counter and so on. Next one is current instruction register. Now presently, which instruction is under execution? The address will be there in CIR. So these are the basics registers that we are having. Apart from this, we are having integer registers R0, R1 up to R31 if it is a 32-bit computer. If it is a 64-bit computer, you will be having R0 to R63 as integer registers. And you will be having floating point registers F0 to F31 for 32-bit registers, 32-bit computer, and F0 to F63 for a 64-bit computer. It depends on the processor. Explain MAR, MDR to 1 plus 2 is equal to 3. Okay. Now 1 plus 2 is equal to 3 you want to execute. For example, you are executing 1 plus 2 equal to 3. Just a second. Share notepad. Yeah. Now our friend asked, let us say A is equal to 10. One instruction is there. After that semicolon, then B is equal to 20, a semicolon, C is equal to A plus B. Okay. Now, suppose the instruction, every instruction will have an address. This is what we said. We are having one register called as MAR. We are having one register called as MDR. We are having a register called as program counter. What else?
Program counter.
AC.
CIR.
AC.
AC. Very good.
S.
Accumulator.
Accumulator. Very good. Now, AC. Now let us see what is there inside these registers. Okay. MAR, then MDR, accumulator, program counter, current
Instruction register.
Okay. Now let us say the address is 100. The address is 102. The address is 104. Okay. Suppose this is the number. Now let us execute this line. Whenever we are executing this line, okay, whenever we are executing this line, so what accumulator has? Accumulator has nothing in it initially, right? When we are executing line 100, instruction 100, okay, what it has, program counter will be having the next instruction address, that is 102. Okay, MAR will be having where the A is created. Suppose A is created at some memory location. A requires some memory. Instruction is different, memory is different. Now, what MDR will be having value 10. Okay,
10.
MDR will be having value 10 data. What data it has? 10. Now, where this A is created, let us say somewhere in the memory a box is created. The name of the box is A and it has the address as 1000, for example. After that, we are having one more memory location called as B. Then let us say one more memory location is there. The name of the memory location is B and its address is 1020, for example. Okay, what we are doing here, we are storing value 10 in it. And what we are doing here, we are storing value 20 in it. Is that right? This part, is it clear? So what MAR will be having? MAR will be having 1001 because we are executing this particular line. When we are executing this particular line, MAR will be having where this A is there. What is the address of A? 1001. 1001 will be there in MAR. MDR, what it has, value 10 is there. So value 10 will be there in MDR. Now, accumulator, what it has, intermediate result. Whenever you are moving the value, the result will be 10 here. Program counter, what is the next instruction? 102. 102 will be there. Now, what about CIR, current instruction register? Which is the current instruction being executed? 100. So
100.
here you will be having 100. Any doubts till this part?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Very good. Now, suppose we are going to execute next line. Suppose we are executing line 102. Okay. So when you are executing line 102, CIR becomes
104.
CIR, I'm talking about current instruction register.
Not true.
CIR becomes
Yeah.
102. Program counter becomes what?
104.
Very good. Program counter becomes 104. What about accumulator? What is the value that you are going to store? 20, right? So
20.
10 becomes 20 now. What is the data? Again 20. Twice you are getting data as 20 and MDR also 20. Now, what is the address of B? Address of B is 1020. So here we'll be getting 1020 in MAR. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now, very good. Till this part, it is okay. Now, concentrate on the next instruction, 104. 104. So, what is 104? Current instruction register becomes 104.
104.
Do we have next instruction? Say 106 is there, write down 106. Because we don't have any instruction, I'm writing the next instruction address, that is 106. Now, what do you mean by intermediate result? Accumulator will be having intermediate result, right? A plus B, 10 plus
30.
20, what is the result?
30.
Will be there in AC. Then MDR, data register. What data register has?
B.
A plus
A
B,
plus
that is
B.
30. Now, what MAR is having?
The data store.
The data related to A. What is the address of A? What is the address of B? What is the address of C? We require 3 addresses here. In order to execute this line, C is equal to A plus B. C is one address, A is one address, B is one address. Okay, understood? 1001 will be there in MAR first. Then after that, copy 1020. Then copy that into C. So what accumulator will be having? Accumulator will be having first value 10. First accumulator will be having value 10. Then it is going to load. No, first we are going to execute from right to left, right? We are going to execute from right to left. So first accumulator will be having B. Accumulator will be having value 20 first. Accumulator will be having, whether my screen is visible. Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes,
Sir.
sir.
Notepad is visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Something happened to my system, that's why I'm asking. So when you execute from right to left, first accumulator will be having B. What is the B value? 20. 20 will be there
20.
in accumulator.
Accumulator.
Then add this B value with A. What is A value? 20. 20 plus 30, accumulator will have now 30. Okay, two steps are there in this instruction. First take B value, store it in accumulator, add with A value, store it in accumulator, then copy that into C. First, initially the value will be 20, then add 10 to it, store 30 again in accumulator, then store C with 30. Okay, understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay, nothing to worry. Let us get back to slide.
Sir, I had a small question.
Yeah, good, go on.
Sir, sir, on the notepad, you took 100, 102 and 104 as a memory allocated address, no, sir?
Yeah.
Sir, can we take 100, 101 and 102, sir?
Yeah, just for example, I have given internally, we don't know what is the address given by the computer.
Okay, okay, sir. Thank
Just for understanding, I have given 100, 102, 104. You can take 100, 101, 102, no issue. Okay, good.
you. Okay, sir.
Yeah, the rest of you please mute your mics. Then we are having system bus. Bus is a wire that connects different components. A bus is a wire which connects different components. On a motherboard is called as a bus. So we are having three types of bus. Three types of bus. Please don't raise hand, just type in the chat box. I can see your chat box live. Now address bus. Address bus means it carries only addresses. Data bus, it carries only data part. And control bus, it is going to send the signals which are going to control address as well as data. Address bus carries the address of data between the processor and the memory. Data bus carries data between the processor, the memory unit and the output. Yeah, just wait, let me complete this slide. I'll explain again, nothing to worry. Carries data between the processor, the memory unit and the input output devices. Control bus carries control signals, commands from the CPU and status signals from the other devices in order to control and coordinate all the activities within the computer. So some of our friends ask what will be there in MAR, what will be there in MDR, what will be there. We are running out of time, but still I'll explain again. Yeah. Now somebody asked, let us make it 101, 102. Okay. Now when you are executing this particular line, A equal to 10, what will be there inside MAR? The address of A. Suppose the address of A is 200. Let us make it simple. The address of B is 300. Okay, just make a box, write like this, 200 and a 300. So what will be there in MAR? MAR has 200 in it. Okay. What MDR is going to have data? What is the data of A? 10. So value 10 will be there. Accumulator is also going to have value 10. Initially it has 0, then it converts to 10 because 10 is under processing. Program counter will have the next instruction. What is the next instruction? 101.
101.
So 101 will be there in program counter. Current instruction under execution, which instruction is under execution? 100. So here you will be having 100. Okay, clear this one?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Sir,
let us
program
see the next
counter.
instruction. Yeah.
What one, sir? Program counter.
Program counter contains the next instruction address. These are instruction addresses. Okay. Now we are executing line 2. What will be there in MAR? MAR requires B. What is the address of B? 300. So here 200 becomes 300. The previous data will be lost. The data will be overwritten every time. So here you will be having value 300 in MAR. What MDR is going to have the value? What is the value? 20. So MDR will be having here 20. Instead of 10, we will be having now 20 in MDR. Then accumulator, what it will be having? 10 will be lost. Now here he will be having value 20 in it. Then program counter, what is the next instruction to be executed? 102. So here we'll be having inside the program counter 102. What is current instruction register? What is the current instruction? Here we will be getting 101. 101 is under execution. So CR will be having 101. Understood till this part?
Yes, sir.
Now let
Sir.
us execute the next instruction. Very good. Go on. Next instruction is 102. C is equal to A plus B. What MAR will be having first? MAR. First it requires the address of B. What is the address of B? Say 300. We said 300. Inside the accumulator, what will be there? 20 will be there. Okay. Inside the accumulator, 20 will be there. MDR, 20 will be there.
20.
Program counter, let us say one more instruction is there, 103.
103.
Current instruction 102. So what we got? First we are concentrating on B part. Then plus A. Now whenever you execute this plus A, 300 becomes 200 because the address of A is 200. Okay. Then MDR will be having now what? 10.
10.
Now accumulator will be having already 20. Add it to plus A. So here it will become 30.
30.
In this case, MDR is different, accumulator is different. In the rest of the cases, accumulator and MDR will be same. Okay. Then what is program counter? Same. Current instruction register? Same. Okay. So this part is over. Now what we need to do? We need to store the result in C. What is the MAR? C becomes 300. Say the
300.
address of C is 300, for example. Then what MDR is going to have? Now MDR will be having value 30.
30.
Okay, what we need to do, store the 30 into C. Then accumulator is also going to have the same value, 3. Okay, program counter also has the same value, 103. Then current instruction register also has the same value. So this is how the registers are going to change in von Neumann architecture. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Very good. So those who are using mics can off. If you are having anything to tell, you can tell. Now let us go back to our PPT. Please mute your mics. We are still listening voices. Now, coming to memory. Memory is of two types, RAM and ROM. RAM stands for random access memory.
You're full of disturbance, sir.
Yeah.
Sir.
సెక్షన్ ఈ హోస్ట్ అంట బాబు హోస్ట్ అని ఉంది అబ్బాయి
Some of our friends are talking. Just let me mute all. Yes. Okay. Now, random access memory is also called as volatile memory. Random access memory is also called as volatile memory. What do you mean by volatile memory? Once the power is lost, the data is lost. Once the power is lost, the data is lost is called as volatile memory. Suppose if you write a program without saving and close the laptop, the data will be lost because that is stored in RAM. Okay. And coming to ROM, even you shut down the system, the data is not lost. For example, you will be having date and time. Either in your mobile phone, also the same case. Once you restart the mobile phone, some data will be lost. If the data is lost, then it is called as the data is available in RAM. And if the data is not lost, then it is stored in ROM. That is the only difference. Now, what exactly in ROM we have? In ROM, we will be having the starting address of the operating system, the date and time, and many other things. What is the address of keyboard? What is the address of mouse, etc. All these things are given by the manufacturer. The motherboard manufacturer is going to store all these details. We cannot modify. ROM is having many types: electronically erasable ROM, programmable ROM, PROM, EROM, EEROM, SROM, etc. Many types are there. You can Google it. Coming to RAM, RAM also the same thing, random access memory. Now, if you want to watch a movie, the movie must be loaded onto RAM. Then only it can be viewed on the screen. If you want to execute a program, the program must be loaded onto RAM. Then only it is going to get executed. So any program, in order to get executed, must be loaded on RAM. Okay. RAM is a temporary memory. Whichever the program is under execution, it will be stored. If you are having an app on the mobile phone, you are using that app will be available on RAM. Otherwise, it will not be available on RAM. Okay. So RAM is also having many types. RAM, SRAM, static RAM, dynamic RAM, DDR1, DDR2, DDR3, DDR4. You can use Google to identify different types of RAM. Okay. Let us go to the next slide. So we will be having measurement. Computer memory is measured in these aspects. 1 byte is equal to 8 bits. 1 kilobyte is equal to 1024 bytes. 1 megabyte is equal to 1024 kilobytes. 1 gigabyte is equal to 1024 megabytes. 1 terabyte is equal to 1024 GB. 1 exabyte, 1024 petabyte, zettabyte, yottabyte. So these are the different representation of memory units. In the same fashion, we are having currency. In currency notes, you are having 10 rupees, 20, 50, 100, 500, and so on, 2000. In the same manner, how the memory is measured inside a computer, this is the representation. Can we listen recorded classes? Yes. Once the recorded class is completed, I'll be sharing that recorded class on YouTube and I'll be sharing the link, but that is only for revision part. YouTube videos are not going to give you attendance. So one human architecture is having some advantages and some disadvantages. Let us complete that quickly. Control unit retrieves the data and instructions in the same manner from one memory. Design and develop of control unit is simplified, cheaper and faster. Data from input output devices and from memory are retrieved in the same manner. Organization of memory is done by programmers, which allows them to utilize the memory. So these are the advantages. What it says, control unit retrieves the data. So control unit will be holding the complete data and instructions in the same manner from one memory. In the way they have received, in the same manner it is going to store. Coming to design and develop of control unit is simplified, cheaper and faster, but we are not going to design control unit. It is designed by manufacturers. Data from input or output devices and from memory are retrieved in the same manner. In the order we receive, in the same manner we are going to, or the one human architecture is going to execute it. Organization of memory is done by programmers, which allows them to utilize the memory. Okay. Now coming to disadvantages. Parallel implementation of program is not allowed due to sequential instruction processing. So the major disadvantage is parallel implementation. We cannot open more than one program at a time in one human architecture. We cannot execute more than one program in a one human architecture. Previous slide, you can watch the YouTube video because we are running out of time. One human architecture has a bottleneck, that is instructions can only be carried out one at a time, means you cannot execute more than one instruction. A server requires to process thousands or billions of instructions at a time, whereas one human architecture cannot do that. It can execute only one instruction at a time. If you see a small mobile phone which is not a smartphone, it can open only one screen at a time, one application at a time. That is the example of one human architecture. Risk of an instruction being rewritten due to an error is the programmer in the program. Yeah, somebody is typing chat. Like the laptop or PC, yeah. Laptop is going to open multiple. You can listen audio at once, watch a movie, you can execute the programs, then it is multi-processing. So laptop doesn't come under one human architecture. Okay. Whichever device which is opening multiple applications at a time doesn't come in one human architecture. Only the old ones. For example, ATM machine is there. It can open only one application at a time. So this is regarding one human architecture, and we have studied many things in this one. Let us see some questions. Try to give the answer. EDVAC was published in which year? 1024, 1945, 1947, 2020. You can type the answer.
1945.
Give the answer. 1945.
1945, sir.
Very good. Now let us come to the next one.
Accumulator.
AC stands for
Accumulator.
Very good. It is not Alice C. Now let us go to the next class, which is very important, number system. Just a second, I'll be opening that number system. We have to complete maximum part of number system. That was I thought, but we are taking lot amount of time, but not an issue. The concept is important. You need to learn something out of my class, not just passing the time. So till this part, is there any doubt?
No, sir.
Very good. So everything is clearly understandable by you?
Yes, sir.
You have no issues?
No, sir.
Very good. Then I am a good faculty. Wow. Slideshow from beginning. Yeah. So data is represented in a computer using number system. Whether my screen is visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
PPT?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
That's what, just a second. Share, yeah, I forgot to share. Yeah. Now, is it visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
A number
sir.
system defines a set of values used to represent a quantity. If you want to represent a quantity, you need to have a number system. When our class ends, as per timetable, when our class ends?
12:50.
12:50, sir.
Wow, great. If possible, we are going to cover till that part. Otherwise, I'll be stopping at 12:30. Otherwise, we'll be continuing up to 12:50. Okay. Voice is breaking. Kindly
Sir.
mute. The rest of the participants mute. Whenever there is a question, you can answer. Please mute yourselves. A number system defines a set of values used to represent a quantity. The value of each digit in a number can be determined using a digit, the position of the digit in the number, the base value of the number system. So three things are very important. One is digit, which digit you are performing the operation. Next one is what is the position of the digit? Is it in hundreds level, thousands level, units level, tens level? I hope you recollect this. You might have studied in your third class or second class. Digits, positions of a number, units position, tens position, hundreds position, thousands position, etc. Next, the base value of a number system. What is the base value? If the base value is 2, then it is a binary number. If the base value is 8, then it is an octal number system. If the base value is 10, it is a decimal number system. If the base value is 16, then it is a hexadecimal number system. Okay? Do you want to take a break for 5 minutes or shall I continue?
It's a break.
Yeah, take a break for
12:50.
10 minutes. Okay, once this number comes to 0, I'll start the class. Whether the screen is visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Time 9:50. Just come back in 10 minutes. Very important concept.
Okay, sir. Yes,
Sir,
sir.
please make a slideshow of your high human architecture, sir.
Yeah, coming to data representation in computer number system, we are having base values. First one is binary. The base value is 2 and the allowed characters or numbers are 0 and 1. Coming to octal number system, we are having 0 to 7, that is base 8, decimal base 10, 0 to 9. Duodecimal is 12, used for some purpose by the Romans. Okay, Romans have created this one. This we don't study in our present syllabus. Then hexadecimal numbers 0 to 9, then A to F. 16 digit will be there. 0 to 9. After 9, if you get 10, you are going to replace the value 10 with A, then B, C, D, E, and F. Total 16 digit number. Then vegesimal is 20 used by Mayans, and sexagesimal is 60 used by Babylons. Okay, so we are going to concentrate on binary number system, Then we are going to concentrate on octal number system, decimal number system, anyhow we know, and hexadecimal number system. Rest we are not going to cover in our present syllabus. Now, let us go to the next slide. Now coming to data representation in a decimal number, that is how we are identifying. That is 0 to 9 are allowed numbers. So I said units, tens, hundreds, thousands, the same thing, right? 1 into 10 to the power of 3, 10 to the power of 2, 10 to the power of 1, 10 to the power of 0. Anything to the power of 0 is 1. Into 4, into 3, into 2, into 1. So 1000 plus 200 plus 330 plus 4, we are going to get 1, 2, 3, 4. So one methodology you are going to follow is 10 to the power of 0, 10 to the power of 1, 10 to the power of 2. You are going to multiply with the digit. Okay, you are going to multiply with the digit. Any doubts here for decimal number system? Everyone knows this concept, right? Units place, tens place, hundreds place, thousand place, and so on. We have taken 1, 2, 3, 4. Then it is performed in this fashion. 4 plus 30 plus 200 plus 1000. We are going to get 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, very good. Now let us go to the next one. Base 2 number system, that is binary number system. We are having only two numbers, that is 0 and 1. So what it is, 0 and 1 starts from 2 to the power of 0, 2 to the power of 1, 2 square, 2 cube, 2 to the power of 4, 2 to the power of 5. And this is called as least significant bit. The first digit is called as, the left side, rightmost side is called as least significant bit, and the leftmost bit is called as most significant bit. This is terminology, how we are saying. Okay, rupees, dollars, euros, all this is terminology for currency. In the same manner, in bits, the terminology is least significant bit and most significant bit. So here you need to concentrate is the number starts from 2 to the power of 0, 2 to the power of 1, that is 2, 2 square is 4, 2 cube is 8, 2 to the power of 4, and 2 to the power of 5, so on, up to a given number. So now let us see how to find the binary number for a given decimal number. Just concentrate on this slide. Okay. So what we are doing here, we are converting 10 to the power of 25, which is a floating number. If you are having a decimal part, then it is called as floating number in computers. Okay. If a decimal part is there, dot, before that mantissa, after that exponential, all those things, it is called as a floating number in computers. So concentrate on 10 to the power of 25. This is what we need to convert. This is a decimal number. 10 to the power of 25, what is equivalent into binary? So let us take the first decimal part, that is 10. Okay. Then what you are doing here, by taking 10, you are going to perform here, you are going to find the LCM part. LCM, I hope you recollect LCM. Yes. So what you are doing in LCM, you are going to take 10. Don't take 10 point. Rest of the number ignore. Then do the LCM with 2. What is the result? 2 LCM of 10. You are going to get 5 as quotient, 0 as a remainder. 0 as remainder, 5 as quotient. Again do the LCM for that, 2. When you divide 2 by 5, you are going to get 1 as remainder. Not, yeah, 1 as remainder and 2 as quotient. Is that right? Then
Yes,
you are going to divide that again with 2. 2 1s are 2. So quotient will be 1 and 0 will be your remainder part.
Reminder.
Okay. So after completing this, you need to find the binary number. How to find that binary number? You have to go from bottom to top. So what is the first digit? 1. So here you are going to write 1. Then after that you got 0. Write the 0 over here. Then write 1. Then you are going to write 1. Okay. Then you are getting 0. So here you are going to write 0. So from bottom to top you are going to collect the reminders. Collect the reminders. So that part is called as LCM. So 10 base 10 is 1010 to the base 2. Any doubts here in LCM part?
No, sir.
Anyone is having a doubt in LCM part?
No, sir.
No, very good. So what we are taking before the fraction, whatever the number is there, you are going to take 10.25, take 10, do the LCM with 2. Because binary number, you are going to make the LCM with 2. For octal number, you are going to make the LCM with 8. For hexadecimal, you are going to make the decimal with LCM with 16. Okay, these are the basic things. For getting the binary number, take or do the LCM with 2. For octal number system, do the LCM part with 8. For hexadecimal number system, do the LCM part with 16. Then once you get the reminders must be collected from bottom to top. Bottom to top. First take 1, then 0, then 1, then a 0. So that is the binary equivalent of 10. 10's binary equivalent is 1010. Then you are going to write base 2. Then coming to the fraction part. What you need to do in fraction part, you need to multiply. What is the fraction part we are having here? 0.25. 0.25 is the fraction part. So what you need to do, take this 0.25, multiply such that the fraction becomes 0, 0. 0.25 must become 0, 0. So what you are going to do here, you are going to multiply 0.25 into 2, 0.50. Why you are multiplying with 2? Because it is a binary conversion. Binary conversion means take 2. Octal conversion means take 8. Hexadecimal conversion take 16. Okay, multiply with 16. When till you reach the resultant after dots become 0. Till that time you keep on multiplying with 2. Irrelevant how many values you are going to get. Okay, so 0.25 into 2, 0.50. Multiply 0.50 with 2, you are going to get 1.00. Okay, 1.00. Now, when you get 1.00, then how many times you have done that one? Multiplication part twice. Is that clear? You have performed multiplication twice. Now, what is there in front of this result? You got 1.00. If you get 1.00, then make it as 0. Just a second. Yeah. So here you are going to get 0.01 to the base 2. Add it, you are going to get. Keep multiplying the fraction part with 2 until decimal part becomes 0.00 is obtained. Then whatever may be the numerator, just move this 1 to the right hand side. So 0.1 will be the result. Answer of 10.25 is equal to 1010.01. Any doubts here?
Sir, explain last step, sir.
Last step, which one?
From 1.00.
Yeah, 1.00. Let us come back. Fraction. You got 0.25 is given in the question.
Yeah, sir.
Yeah. Then you need to multiply 0.25 with the 2 because it is a binary number. If it is octal, multiply with 8. If it is hexadecimal, multiply with 16. Till
Yes,
what
sir.
you need to multiply? Till it becomes 0, 0. Till it becomes 0, 0. Now,
Yes, sir.
0.25 into 2, 0.50. Then take 0.50, multiply with 2, 1.00. Now, once you got 1.00, if you get 10.0, for example, then make dot 10. If you get 1.00 in this case, just shift this 1 to the 0. After 0, you need to add.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So it will become 0.01. It will become 0.01. Just move this 1 to here. If you get 10, then 0.10 will be the result. If you get 10
okay.
instead of 1, 0.10 will be the result. If you get single digit number, make it as .01. That's single digit number.
Yes, sir.
Okay, understood?
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Let us go to the
tables
next
fail, sir,
conversion. Yeah, this is the beautiful one. Instead of doing LCM, what you are going to do? Quickest one. Okay. In your competitive exams, you are going to follow this methodology. So just concentrate on the number again. Here we are given with a binary number. You need to convert into a decimal number. So what is that number? 1010, take this separately, and after dot 01, make this separate. Okay, before dot, after dot, mantissa exponential part. Now what we are doing here, the value starts from 2 to the power of 0. 2 to the power of 0 is the first digit. Take the first digit 0 into 2 to the power of 0, then 2 to the power of 1 into the next digit 1. 2 square, take the next digit 0, then 2 cube, take the next digit 1, multiply with that number. What you are going to get?
8 plus
2 to the power of 0 is 0, right? Whether 2 to the power of 0 is 0? No, 2 to the power of
2
0
to
is
the power
1.
of
1. 2 to the power of 0 is 1. 1 into
1.
0?
0.
0. Then plus 2 to the power of 1, 2. 2 into 1?
2.
2. Plus 2 square?
0.
0.
4. 0.
2 square is 4. 4 into 0?
0.
Plus 2 cube?
8.
8. 8 into 1? 8. What is 8 plus 2 plus 1? 8 plus 2 plus 0?
10.
10. So here you are going to get the result as 10. Understood till this part?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Before dot, take individual digits. Before dot, take individual digits, multiply with that number. 2 to the power of 0, 2 to the power of, you need to multiply 2 to the power of 0, 2 to the power of 1, 2 to the power of 2, 2 to the power of 3, so on. Okay, so this is the formula for before dot part. Now coming to after dot part, what is happening here? Add -1, -2. Okay, 2 to the power of -1, 2 to the power of -2. It is going to give you the result as
How should
25 you are going to get.
How we should do to the minus?
Okay, basic mathematics you can refer. -1. -1 means what? -2 means what?
1 by 4.
Ah, yes.
1 by 2, 1 by 4.
0.25, right?
Yes, sir.
That part you can do at home. Okay, so finally what we are going to get? 0.25. So before dot you need to have positive indices, and after dot you need to have negative indices, that is powers. Okay, shall we go to the next slide? Decimal to binary, binary to decimal is over. So you need to recollect this chart. This particular diagram you need to recollect. 2 to the power of 0, 2 to the power of 1, multiply it with the value, multiply with the digit, multiply with the digit, add, multiply, okay? So let us go to the next slide. That is base 8, octal number system. Octal number system. So what the same concept there, 2 to the power of 0 was there, here 8 to the power of 0 will be there. Okay, the numbers that are allowed are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then after 7, if you want to write 8, it will become 10, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6, 1, 7, 2, 0, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, 5, 2, 6, 2, 7, 3, 0, 3, 1, like that, the number continues. Okay, so here we are having the LCM part. I have changed it to division part for your understanding. We can solve like this also. Okay, like this also you can solve. So here again we got a decimal number system 10.25. We need to convert it into octal number system. 10. Take the 10 value. Now here in the example, concentrate on 670. Here 10.25 is there. You can work out later on. Let us concentrate on 670 to the base 10. Now the result is 1236 to the base 8. How we got 670? Do the LCM part with 8. You are going to get 83 as quotient, 6 as remainder. Okay. Here 83 is quotient part. Again 83 goes to the next part, and 6 is remainder part. Then again divide 83 with 8. 10 is quotient and 3 is remainder. You can do on paper if you are having a doubt simultaneously. Then divide 10 with 8. The quotient will come here. 10 with 8. 1 is the quotient, 8 ones are 8, and 2 is the remainder. Okay, then 1, take till what point you need to divide? Till the value becomes 0. till the value becomes 0, you need to divide. 1 divided by 8, 8 zeros are 0, remainder is 1. Okay, as our rule says, we need to go from bottom to top, collect the numbers from bottom to top. So it is 1 will be written first, then take 2, 2 will be written next, 3, 6 to the base 8. 1, 2, 3, 6 is the equivalent octal number for decimal number 670. Okay. In the same fashion, we are having for 10 to the point 25. Now 10 to the point 25 becomes what? 1, 2 to the base 8. Why 1, 2? Because after 7 it will become 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2. Okay. Same thing with respect to the dot. After dot, multiply 0.25 till you reach 0, 0. Till you reach 0, 0. So 0.25 into 8. 0.25 into 8. Like that, if you multiply, you will be getting 2 times. 0.258 is equal to 2.00. So you are going to write dot 2 here. So the result is.
మరి ఇక్కడ ఫ్రాక్షన్ పార్ట్ లో 0.202 ఎందుకు తీసుకోలేదు సార్?
Yeah, that's correct. So here the mistake is there. The point is dot 02 is the answer. Right one. Good. So the answer is 12.02 is the right answer. Okay. Here in slide it is wrong. Okay. Let us go to the representation of computer number system, that is 12.2. Yeah. So here in the previous slide, what happened? How many times we have done?
Sir, why
Two
we took
times.
70, sir?
Okay. Twice we have done. That's why we are writing 0.01. If in a single time we are going to get the 0, write it as a single digit 1.
సార్ మరి ఇక్కడ మనకి ఒకవేళ 16 వస్తే 0.016 అని రాసుకోవాలా సార్?
Where
అంటే ఫ్రాక్షన్ పార్ట్ లో
fraction part is evaluated separately. If you get 16 in fraction part, 16 must be evaluated separately. 16 must be multiplied by 2 till it becomes 0. How many times you are multiplying those number of zeros will be added?
16.00 వస్తే సార్ 16.00 వస్తే
I didn't get you.
16.00 వస్తే అప్పుడు 0.016 అని రాసుకోవాలా సార్?
Here, in this case,
Yes, sir.
now in this case, see, just concentrate. I am multiplying once. 0.25 into 2, 0.50 we got. Once we have multiplied. Then second time again we are multiplying, we got 1. Because we got the answer for the second time, we are going to write the result as 0, 1.
అక్కడ 1 బదులు 2 డిజిట్ నెంబర్ వస్తేలా సార్ మరి?
2 digit number you are not going to get at all. Why? Because we are, yeah, if you even you get 2 digit number, how many times you multiply it? Twice. Okay, write as 0 that 2 digit number, 0.025, 0.036, like that.
ఓకే సార్.
Okay, only fraction part, just know I have made that mistake, you can correct it. The number of times you are multiplying, those many zeros will be added. If you get a 2 digit number, add the 2 digit number at the last. Here directly we got in octal system for the first attempt itself. 0.25 into 8, directly we are going to get 2. So that's why we are not adding any 0. Directly you are writing 0.2. Okay. Now let us go to.
Sir, why we
conversion
got
of-
670, sir?
Yeah. 670 is the
670, why did we take, sir?
example, Baba. Convert 670, which is in decimal number system, to octal number system. Then started dividing. You can do LCM or you can do division also. Both are same. We are taking a remainder as well as quotient. 670 divided by 8, 83 is the quotient part. 6 is the remainder part. Leave the 6 here. Take the quotient 83. Again divide 83 with 8. You are going to get 8 tens are 80. 3 as the remainder. Leave the remainder here. Take the 10 again. Divide the 8 value with 10. 8 ones are 8. Keep 1. Remainder 2. Then divide 1 with 8. 8 zeros are 0. 8 zeros are 0. Remainder is 1. Till the value becomes 0, you need to do division part. Then from bottom to top, take the number. The answer will be 1236. to the base 8. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Only fraction part is a bit disturbing. How many times you multiply, those many zeros you have to add after dot. Okay, directly if you get the answer 0.25 into 8, directly you are going to get 2.00. So directly you are going to write 0.2. If you get the 0, 0 after again one iteration, then you need to write 0, 2. That is the only tiniest part that you need to recollect. Now coming to here, octal to decimal conversion. Same thing, you have to divide the number 1, 2 before the dot, after the dot. So this part is different, this part is different. So 2 to the power of 8 to the power of 0 into the first digit, 8 to the power of 1 into the 10th digit. 1 will be copied here, 2 will be copied here. Then coming to here, minus 1, 8 to the power of minus 1. So 12.2 becomes 10.25. Okay, straight away process. Only thing is you need to concentrate on these numbers: 8 to the power of 0, 8 to the power of 1, 8 square, 8 cube, 8 4, 8 to the power of 5. When you are performing conversions. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Can you explain last step? 10.25 base 10.
10.25 based on this one, huh?
This
Or
one.
previous
sir.
slide, huh?
This one. Sir.
This one, very good. Now, see, first we are going to take the 2, multiply with 8 to the power of 0.
Sir. Yes, sir.
8 to the power of 0 is 1.
Sir.
1 into 2, the result will be 2.
Yes, sir.
Plus 8 to the power of 1, 8.
Yes, sir.
Take the next digit, multiply with it, whatever may be the digit. 8 to
Yes,
the power
sir.
of 1 is 8. 8 into 1, 8. So
8.
what we got? 10 we got.
Yes, sir.
So before dot, we got the result as 10. Now let us take this rest of the part. 2 into 8 to the power of minus 1.
Yes, sir.
Yes?
0.25.
Forget about 2. What is 8
0.25.
to the power of minus 1? 1 by 8. What is the result?
1 by 4, sir. 0.25.
8 to the power of minus 1. 1 by 8. What is the result?
0.25.
0.25. 1 by 8 is
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
0.25. 0.25 into 2.
Sir, no, sir. 2 in
0.50.
Yeah, 2 into 8 to the minus 1 is
2 into 1 by 8, that equal to 1 by 4, 0.25, no, sir. Yes, sir.
1 second.
2 into 1 by 8.
Yeah. 8 to the power of 1 is 0.5. 0.5 0.25 will be getting after multiplying by 2. Yeah. 1 by 8.
1 by 8 is equals to 0.125, sir.
Yeah, 1 by 2, 8 into 2 means 1 by 4 is 0.2.
Yes, sir. 0.5.
Yes,
yes,
we are
sir.
going to divide 2 and 4. We are going to get here 4. So 0.25. 8 plus 2 is 10. 10 plus 0.25, 10.25 is the answer. Okay.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Here 8 to the power of minus 1 means 1 by 8. Because we are having into 2, what we are going to do? We are going to divide 2 and 8, it becomes 4. So 1 by 4 is 0.25.
0.25.
Yes, sir.
Now add that to 8 plus 2, 10.25.
Sir,
Answer 10 lakhs, sir. 10.25.
Answer 10.25 kada?
Kinda 10.
Base 10 by
10.25, it is clearly written.
Base
sir,
10.
but base 10 is why.
Base 10 means decimal. We are converting octal number system into
Okay,
decimal.
okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Converting octal number system into decimal.
Yes, sir.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Now let us go to the last one, hexadecimal number system. In hexadecimal number system, we are having 0 to 9. What is the time now?
12:22. 12:20.
Yeah, after this is over, we are going to stop the class. So hexadecimal number system, we are having 0 to 9, then A, B, C, D, E, F, 0 to 16. Same thing, 16 to the power of 0, 16 to the power of 1, 16 to the power of 2, 16 to the power of 3, 4 and 5. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, so here what we are going to do is I am going to represent the same part using a box, using a table. In these all ways you can do. Yeah, 153, please mute your mic. We are getting disturbance. So just concentrate here. What we are going to do here is, we are going to have division, quotient, remainder in decimal part, remainder in hexadecimal. For our understanding, we are doing like this. For our understanding. So first, whatever the value is 7562, what you are going to do, you are going to divide it by 16. 7562. Can you see here 7562?
Yes,
If
sir.
you divide that by 16, the quotient is 472 and remainder is 10. But in hexadecimal, we don't have remainder 10. We are going to call it as
Yes,
8.
sir.
10 is
Yes,
equal to 8. Up to 9, 0 to 9, then 8. Then take this 472, divide it with again 16. You are going to get the quotient as 29 and remainder as 8. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Then you are going to write 8 as it is. Then take this 29 and divide it with 16. You are going to get 16 ones are 16 and the remainder is 13. 13 is equal to D. That's why you are writing here D.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then divide this 1 with 16. 16 zeros are 0. Remainder is 1. Once you get 0, you need to stop here. Once you get 0, you need to stop the process.
Yes, sir.
In quotient. It may be binary number system, it may be octal, it may be hexadecimal. Wherever the quotient is 0, stop it. Then 1 is
Okay,
equal
sir.
to 1. Now, as we said, we are going to go from bottom to top. So the answer is 1D8A. The answer
Yes,
is
sir.
1D8A
Okay,
to
yes,
the
sir.
power of 16. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
If you are having a fraction part, again you are going to do the same concept. Divide the fraction, multiply by 16 till it becomes 0, 0.
Okay, sir.
If the input is having fraction point, dot, if a dot is there, multiply that dot after the dot value till it becomes 0, 0. How many times you multiply, add those many number of zeros. Okay. So that is converting a decimal number to hexadecimal number. Shall we go to the next slide? Still anybody is having a doubt?
No, sir.
Very good. Why we took A and D? Because in hexadecimal number system, we don't have 10. We don't have 13. 10 is represented as A, 13 is represented as D, because we are having 0 to 9 and then A to F. 16 digits are there in hexadecimal number system. 0
Sir,
to 9.
what is digits, sir? 0, 1, 2, 3.
Here
digits.
we are having na. What is hexadecimal equivalent of decimal number system? 0 is equal to 0, 9 is equal to 9, 10 is equal to
No,
8.
sir, in previous slide. Just now, before, sir.
Here, huh?
No, sir.
Here,
Last box, sir. Last one. Digits, sir.
digit. Yeah.
0, 1, 2, 3.
Digit
Just
hashtag.
Which digit we are doing? Okay. Don't concentrate on digit, leave it. I'll remove that in the slide.
Okay.
Okay. First we got this A, then we got 1, then we got 2, D, then we got 3. That is my intention there. That digit is wrong. Okay. What is the
okay.
first resultant? That is the intention there. Yeah.
Before that, we changed it after into decimal one.
Yeah.
Now we are changing decimal into hexa one. Why, sir?
Yeah. Hexadecimal. These are the number systems what we are having. This is how you are going to convert one number into another
We
form.
have to increase from down to up, sir.
Yeah. All the time we need to take the remainder parts from bottom to top.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. It may be binary number, it may be octal, it may be hexadecimal. Anything from bottom to top, you are going to take the remainder. Then only you are going to get the result. 1D8A is the result in this case.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Okay, good.
Thank you, sir.
Now let us see the last slide of today's class. That is how to convert a hexadecimal number into binary number. Same concept, same logic. If it is a binary number, multiply with 2. If it is an octal number, multiply with 8. If it is hexadecimal number, multiply with 16. Okay. Now E. Now we can't have E in decimal system. What is equivalent of E? 14. Right here, 14. Is that clear? Then we don't have D in decimal number system. What is the equivalent of D? 13. Right in. is 13. 7, write as it is because 7 is a decimal number. So here you are going to take 16 power 0 into 14, 16 to the power of 1 into 13, 16 to the power of 2 into 7.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What is 16 power of 0? 1. 1 into 14. 16 power of 1 is 1. 16. So 16 into 13. Then 256 into 7. Multiply and add. So that is 14 plus 208 plus 1792. So the equivalent is 2014. Okay. 2014.
Yes,
So
sir.
this table you need to recollect all the time when converting a number from one type to another number. This is how you are going to convert the numbers. Any doubts in today's class?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Everyone, I hope
No, sir.
everyone learned something out of in this class.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Wow, very good. So we are going to stop the class here. You need to practice more at home. Okay? Try to take 5 or 10 examples. Convert them binary to decimal, decimal to binary. Convert them octal to decimal, decimal to octal. Hexadecimal to decimal, decimal to hexadecimal. Practice more today. Otherwise, you won't recollect all these concepts. The more you practice, the more you recollect.
Okay, sir.
Very good. All the very best. What is the time now?
12:30.
12:30.
Okay. So we are going to wind up the class. When is your next class after lunch?
120, sir.
120. Okay. All the very best.